This is not a collab I was expecting. I've done a full vocal analysis on Dan Reynolds, and I've done oodles of videos on Ado. So I hope you get to check those out. I'll leave a playlist at the end of this video. Let's see what happens here. I really have very mixed expectations for this, having really appreciated both artists.
Got a million people saying how to plan it. I can no longer stand it. Gonna spend my days telling them to can it.
I've always liked Dan Reynolds' tone, his overall approach, especially when he starts getting higher and more powerful. But one of the things I really have appreciated about Imagine Dragons' production is the way that they layer Dan's voice. So it'll be interesting to see how that works with both Ado and Dan.
Each one do their own. Got a salesman ringing my phone. Tell me where to go. No, I don't want to hear the down low. Nothing on the penny, never want it.
Typical and like almost nostalgic vocal production right there with Dan.
Down low. Nothing on the penny, never want to hear you preach. No.
Yeah.
You take the snow. It's way too cold.
It's way too cold. Having that lighter upper range expression and then sort of grounding in this like, ha, ha, ha. Another thing that Dan does so well. And you hear all these different characters happening in the midst of these layers.
Take me to the beach. You can have the mountains. You take the snow.
Right? There's so many different, it's, I think, most likely all Dan, but, one of them is saying, take me to the beach. The other one's like, take me to the beach. The other one's doing, take me to the beach. They all have different little inflections, but they follow the general vibe, but create variety within that vibe. Because it's spoken and because they're going for that multi-character approach in the arrangement.
Take me to the beach.
Yeah, some of them are like this.
You can have the mountains. You take the snow.
Snow.
It's way too cold. My heart is cold enough. Push comes to shove.
Even going up into his head voice a little bit. Push comes to shove. Push comes to shove. Now, this is something that he does in his singing too. And Ado really does in her singing, right? She's just all over the place while she's singing.
You can have the mountains. I'll take the beach.
I like that one. I'll take the beach. I interrupted Ado. Was that her?
Take the beach.
That's so low. Not the first time I've heard her that low, but.
I'll take the beach.
I love like just imitating some of her inflections and then experiencing what happens with my voice when I do it. It's like a project for me every time I hear new Ado. Gotta hear that passage again. She just flies off the handle there. Do you hear how she gets, before she just completely loses it? She goes from this sort of posture, which has some suave and some control and sophistication, and then she continues to bring the resonance back, and get brasher. But it's this gradual thing that happens. She kind of lulls you into the transition with her voice, and then she just then she lets her voice break in the midst of that transfer. It's a very different character there, but it's not that different. And then listen. I gotta learn some Japanese. Fun hearing her speak English too. Listen to that posture change right in the middle of that line. I like that bellish. No, it's very bellish, very belted, very different than which we hear her doing both of. That's cool. So I don't hear her. I heard her in the initial rap there at the beginning, or the initial spoken. Take me to the beach. That would be Ado, and then we've got Dan surrounding her. But then later on, she's doing some sort of melodic figure in the background, not joining in the spoken chant, "Take me to the beach."
You can have the mountains. You take the snow. It's way too cold. My heart is cold enough. Push comes to shove.
That was cool. My heart is
cold enough.
My heart is cold enough. Very interesting inflection choice, given what we hear the background vocals doing. It really stands out that way.
It's way too cold. My heart is cold enough.
I love how she handled the heart. My heart.
Push comes to shove. You can have the mountains. I'll take the beach.
I'll take the beach. That's super cool to hear them in the same register, hear the tonality differences and the different ways that they choose to approach those same notes. The blend is really neat.
I'll take the beach. I'm better off alone. Like a rolling stone. Turning off my phone. No one bringing me down, 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 down.
You definitely hear more layering on Dan's parts. There's some doubling and layering going, even though they're panned here. And Ado is very much more unprocessed. That's an interesting contrast.
Just give me some space. Sun in my face. And the days go on and on and on and on. T-I-K-E, take me to the beach. You can have the mountains.
That was a cool. Hey!
Me to the beach. You can have the mountains. You take the snow. It's way too cold. My heart is cold enough.
Beautiful. That was really cool. Hear her like call and answer thing happening in the back. I want to say she might be in those layers, and then I also hear maybe some of Dan coming in on that melodic figure. They've really switched up the layers and complexity of the arrangement here at the end. Ooh.
Push comes to shove. You can have the mountains. I'll take the beach.
I'll take the. There's a very clear crack at the very end there. I love that kind of thing.
You can have the mountains. I'll take the beach. I don't have no bread.
Some yodeling. Only with Ado do you hear so much variety, even in the midst of she's able to put some truly weird things in that wouldn't really fit if it wasn't her doing it. But because she's so good at arcing characters and creating different vibes within vibes, it not only works, but it just makes you go like, oh yeah. Hear all those sighs and the breaks into her head voice? It is. It's like yodeling. Slide, slide. Take me to the beach. That was super fun. Thank you to all who alerted me that this was out. Being a fan of both of these vocalists and having analyzed both of their voices separately, it was super cool to hear how they interacted. Be sure to check out my Ado playlist if you haven't already, as well as my Dan Reynolds vocal analysis in these videos here. And if you would like help working with your own voice, unpacking what it can really do in a freeing and non-judgmental way, click the link below in the pinned comment or video description and join my free voice course. I'll help you pull things out of your voice you never knew were there.